Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So my family has always been into gardening. We've learned many methods over the years, from tire planting to raised beds. Now as a child, I found it odd that food plants had to be planted manually while others just grew on their own. Also, my curiosity was piqued by the fact that planting a specific seed did not mean it would be the only plant growing in the bed. That's when I began learning about other edible plants, and poisonous ones too. I remember reading in some old educational children's books that seeds can be transferred from one place to another by different means of action by humans and animals. For example, if a bird eats various seeds, a percentage of them won't digest and can be planted through the bird's droppings. People walk around and the bottoms of their shoes gather soil. Little seeds are also in that dirt, just waiting to sprout when the conditions are right. With all this in mind, my curiosity veered more towards what the plants were. Could they be food just like the seeds we had planted? I want to note that at this time I wasn't aware of the fact that plants are actually medicine. In my mind, it was either food or poison. Long story short, I learned a lot during those times, and here's how you can too. These are 5 steps to understanding and identifying wild herbs. Step 1. Take a picture. It's easy to forget what a plant looks like exactly, especially when you pass by so many on a daily basis. Take a picture of the plant you would like to learn more about. If you like to journal, saving it in a document or printing it for your notebook is very helpful. That way you can write notes on the things you discover about this plant. Step 2. Search leaf types. There are different kinds of leaves, and knowing what to call them is really helpful when identifying a plant. There are lobed leaves, smooth and pointed, parallel veined, stems with wings, etc. Knowing these definitions will make your search a lot easier. As a matter of fact, earlier this year I found the name of a tree using this very method. I simply searched, and after a few minutes of scrolling Google Images, I pulled up a picture that looked close. I cross-checked it with the image that I took with my camera out on the field, and voila, it was the same. From there, I followed the link to a website that had more information on the plant. Turns out, it was a sassafras tree. Cool, right? Step 3. Understand plant terminology. Words like perennial, winter hardy, shrub, bush, and hundreds of old Latin words that describe plant families will all help you find what you're looking for. They will also help you to know how to grow them yourself. For instance, some plants are only perennial in tropical climates, and some are biennial, meaning perennial for only a few years. Annuals don't survive the winter at all, and so on. There's so much more to learn about plant terminology. You'll be surprised what some of these words mean and where they come from. Step 4. Determine if the plant is edible, medicinal, or toxic. A lot of the time, plants fall under these 3 categories. The line between them, however, can be very thin. Think of these categories as circles that at some point overlap one another. You will begin to determine what plants are edible and medicinal and toxic and edible, while learning how they fit into these categories without contradiction. Some plants have poisonous roots, but the leaves are edible. Others have medicinal roots while the rest of the plant is poisonous. These combinations vary for each and every plant. Step 5. Search for poisonous lookalikes. Even though you may have studied a plant extensively, you should always make it your business to search for that plant's doppelganger. Many plants have lookalikes that are either poisonous or medically different in significant ways. For instance, you might want to take an herb for stomach pain and mistakenly harvest a lookalike that is mildly toxic enough to cause stomach pain. Almost all herbal remedies have their pros and cons. Some work faster, some are more precise, some taste better, and some are more readily available. The more you know about them yourself, the less you have to depend on anyone else. If you really put time into the study of wild plants for medicinal and nutritional uses, it'll become a second language for you. Before you know it, you'll walk in the park and see the world as a great big salad. Wild lettuces, sweet flowers, potent aromatic scents, and remedying roses at your fingertips. Thanks for watching, and I hope this information is helpful to you in your studies.